Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Monday and my Monday messages. For those of you who have not tuned in before, my name is Rebecca. I'm a professional homeopath. I'm a QTT coach practitioner and a kind of all-round natural health advocate. And I just like to share any messages on a Monday to help us to have more control over our ability to self-regulate and to be and feel as healthy as we can possibly be, as naturally as possible. So today I have been spurred on to talk about something that actually happens, I wouldn't say, well, it happens regularly, and I've had a long time where it hasn't been present, but actually recently I've had several inquiries that have reminded me that this perception of homeopathy can be prevalent. So what I'm talking about is what actually constitutes a really good homeopathic prescription. And I'm predominantly talking about chronic health issues, although it does apply to acute prescribing as well. And that is that a lot of people think that selecting the remedy, the correct remedy, or the most similar remedy is all that's required. And I say all because that's not always easy. But that is it. Once you found the remedy, nothing else matters. You just take it in whatever way you feel is appropriate to you, whether that's a single dose or whether that's repeating it several times a day, over weeks, or any kind of variant in between. And often, if we're not familiar with homeopathy, we can read an article, or we can, have somebody who is, perhaps a bit more familiar, who recommends a remedy. And what happens is then I get people phoning up, not clients of mine, but people who have just picked me randomly. And they're asked me to supply that remedy. And it's alarm bells immediately ring when I start to say, well, okay, what strength, what potency, and how many times have you been recommended to take this remedy? And when the answer comes back, oh, I don't know, I haven't been told that, then if it comes from a practitioner, whoever the practitioner is and however they're trained, then alarm bells start to ring, because I cannot dispense a remedy. Well, I can, but I'm not comfortable with dispensing a remedy in for me to be choosing a potency for somebody that I have not taken a case of. I don't know what's going on with them. I have no idea whether they might be on long-term medication, for example, or whether they have some area or part of them that is currently, a bit compromised and may need building up before they take a deep-acting remedy. I don't know anything about them, basically. So if they are wanting to come to me for treatments, then I would encourage them and say, well, that's brilliant that you've recognised something in that remedy that seems to resonate with you. Fantastic. But really, without knowing both, what the potency is and how often you should take it, that's not really a prescription. And it's not really helpful for me to just pluck those two things out of the air, because I've no idea what you're hoping to achieve or what your capabilities are. And if it's something that somebody's read in an article, that's kind of understandable, because most of the time when things are written about homeopathy, the person who's writing it is either trying to be very generic or they don't really understand about homeopathy. And I really welcome any curiosity from anybody about using homeopathic remedies. But I just wanted to really underline how important the other two components of a homeopathic prescription are. It's not just the remedy, it's the choice of potency, which is sometimes described as the strength of a remedy. I personally don't find that very helpful, because in some cases, a really low dose, like a 5, a 3 even, or a 6, can be really strong. And in other cases, a much higher potency can be not so strong. Depends on your definition of strong, basically. So I like to think of potency as more like choosing the appropriate frequency or vibration. And that is chosen based on a number of different components. It's based on what is the most pressing thing that's present in the recipient at this time. So what's taking the majority of their energy, and therefore what is most beneficial to support at any given time. That might be something like a particular organ system, or it may be that you're looking at the totality of everything that's going on at any given time. That's going to vary from case to case. So thinking of it, and you can use different remedies for different purposes, especially the polycrests, the more well-known remedies that are actually capable of addressing multiple diseased states. So, for example, I had a little dialogue with a fellow homeopath the other day. She did a lovely post about sepia, and she was talking about sepias often needing liver support, which I completely agree with. And I was moved to just remember that sepia, for example, when it's given in a very low dose, and often can be a really good liver support, just as something like Nox Vom, which is more usually used, or sulfur used as a liver support, can be used in that regard. So you can use remedies as a totality, so looking at the whole of what's going on, everything, every aspect of what's going on in a person. That's brilliant when you can do that. But sometimes you can see that somebody needs a particular part of them supported. You can see that there are aspects of that remedy that are also happening in that particular part, that smaller part. And so you can choose to use that bigger remedy, if you like, in a smaller, more precise, more finely tuned way. It just depends on what's going on for each person. And if you've been following me for a while, you'll know that if one of the first things I'm doing is assessing that somebody is capable of using a remedy in a really efficient way. And that invariably means that they're able to start throwing rubbish out, to get rid of the things that have been hanging around in the body and causing problems, taking up energy. They need to come out in order to release that energy so that real beneficial healing can take place. And therefore, if the organs of elimination, the roots of elimination in somebody are blocked, then if you start to give a deep acting remedy that will encourage that kind of detoxing effect, if you like, the person's going to feel really awful, because the rubbish will be motivated to be collected up and ready to move out, but it's got nowhere to go because all the exit routes are blocked. So it's all of those kind of things that a professionally trained homeopath is able to assess, able to weigh up, and able to decide what is the most appropriate combination of the 3 parts of a homeopathic prescription for that person at this time. that is going to be as gentle and as deep acting and as beneficial as possible. So I suppose my message is that it's just a reminder of that. So, if you're going to go to a homeopath, for example, and say, oh, would you mind making me up a dose of sepia, let's say, don't be surprised if they say, well, I can't do that because I don't know what potency you need and I don't know how many times you need to take it. So if somebody else has recommended a remedy for you, then you should be prompted to say, what's potency? How many times should I take it? And if they can't tell you that, then move on to another practitioner for your homeopathy, is my advice. So that is it. It's just a reminder that you need more than just the remedy in order to get a beneficial result. Now, there are exceptions to that. This is not the space to talk about them. It's going to be less important, less vital when you're dealing with acutes, because as long as you're hitting the right remedy, mostly an acute will respond, but not always. So, if you're prescribing a really good remedy that you think, like, it's definitely that, and it's not really doing what you're expecting it to do, then I would look again at the potency that you've chosen and the number of times that you're telling the person to take it or taking it yourself. And in the absence of that, of course, then just consult a professional homeopathic practitioner and you'll get the results that you need. So that's it. I hope that you have a lovely week and that you are able to feel as relaxed and calm and peaceful or energised and vital as you want to be. Thanks for listening. And as ever, I'd welcome any comments or questions. And you can always book a free clarity call with me if you have something specific that you want to discuss or you want to ask questions about. And the link to that is in the post with this video. Thanks very much. Bye.